Thank you for joining us today for another exclusive interview. I'm your host, Arabian. Today we are joined by Deborah Mihaloff of Craven Farm and Amanda Roxborough, the racing and sales manager guiding one of Arabian racing's most extraordinary campaigns. Their homebred and gelding First Class now stands on the brink of history, attempting to become the first horse ever to win the Dubai Kahayla Classic in non-consecutive years, and only the third to claim the race 3 times. From Doswell, Virginia to the world stage in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, we'll explore the resilience behind his remarkable resurgence, the careful management between races, and what a third Kahayla Classic victory on the 30th Dubai World Cup night would mean, not only for Craven Farm, but also for American-bred Arabian racing globally. Stay tuned for a powerful story of patience, partnership, and a champion with her extraordinary heart. So Deborah, Amanda, first of all, great to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm going to start with Deborah. So First Class is attempting, as I mentioned, to become the first horse to win that Kahayla Classic in non-consecutive years, having won back in 2022 and 2025. Only Alanud and Majani have won 3 editions, and both did so in closer succession. What does it mean for you that a homebred gelding from Doswell, Virginia, is on the verge of writing a very unique chapter in the history of Arabian racing, most prestigious race?
Thank you for asking that question. First Class has written a unique chapter in history already. If we are blessed to win the third Dubai Kahayla Classic, it would be very fitting. Like the great Secretariat, who was also foaled in Doswell, Virginia, with all due respect to Secretariat, he only raced in the United States. First Class not only raced and won in the United States, but he has won graded stakes in Qatar, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, and has graded stakes placings in England and France. Class is truly a world champion and not just an American champion. In his second win in the Dubai Kahayla Classic, I don't know if people have realized this, but it was the second best time recorded for the race, and he did it at 8 years of age. He is already in the history books for what he has already accomplished.
Excellent. Beautiful. What a great answer.
Yes.
And moving on to Amanda. So you're the day-to-day link between, obviously, Deb in Virginia and the team in Dubai. Could you walk us through what the communication looks like in these, final weeks before the Kahayla Classic, and how you and Joe Watson assess whether the horse is ready, especially to go again at Maiden?
Well, the communication and partnership that Deb and I have with Doug Watson and his assistant Dion is not just in the last few weeks, it's been for the last 3 seasons. One of the best parts when Deb was deciding to take back stewardship of her horse, we both were very keen with Doug for all the reasons. One of the special reasons for me was that I worked in Dubai in the mid-90s for the Shadwell Sheikh Hamdan stable, which is now Red Stable. And when I arrived in 95, one of the foremen of the barn was Doug Watson. So I've been very lucky to have a day-to-day work relationship with him. I've seen him in action, even when in his younger days in the mid-90s as a foreman. Always impressed with him as his horsemanship, dedication, just a really good human being. And the way he treated his horses. He had a lot of Arabians in his barn because he was kind of lower on the totem pole at the time in that job. And so I was always impressed when I'd go up there to get on a lot of his horses. He's just a kind person, good horseman. So, it was really exciting to partner back up in these new roles. Obviously, he's had amazing success over the years, and we felt that this would be the right fit with this type of horse. Dion McFadden, whose assistant, was also someone working in the mid-90s. So I've known both of them. And, we have a mutual respect. And I think that's what is the most important. And Dion is basically Doug's right arm. He does, a lot of the legwork with the filming videos for us. He's great with me. Him and I have a good relationship. So any question or little niggly thing that I know maybe Doug doesn't have time to talk about, Dion and I are texting back and forth. As well as Bitten, who rides him. She loves to send me extra videos and having that inside information, and it really keeps us connected. And there's no, obviously the trust is already there. It's not about, seeing what's going on. It's about the experience as an owner. And I think that's something that's really developed in the industry over the last decade, which is so important, is to keep your owners informed, happy. And it's a sport where if we race globally, as Deb has chosen to, and we've been very fortunate to do, you're thousands of miles away, and your investment is there, and your love doesn't diminish because they're not in your house every day. And so having that opportunity to see them, enjoy them, it makes the whole process even sweeter. And again, we all have a mutual respect of the care and love that we have for this horse.
I would like to say something too. I'd like to add to that. Amanda has always managed my horses to detail. She stays on top of each of the horses, watching every detail that video or picture shows her. She'll stop that thing and she will rewind it and she will watch it and she will watch it and she will blow it up. And it's just amazing how much detail she puts into every horse. It's not uncommon for her to talk to the trainers at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, or even to myself. I can call her at that time in the morning and say, did we get that video yet for the horse or whatever? And it's so cool to be able to wake up to a video, and we receive quite a few of them during a week. And to wake up to that in the morning after she's put it together, it really makes for a beautiful wake up call, you might say. Last year she was I think it took you, Amanda, 3 or 4 times to make sure that the program for the Dubai Kahayla Classic would show the American flag instead of the United Arab Emirates. Because they keep referring to him as the United Arab Emirates, and I don't want to sound ungrateful, but we are not provided some of the expenses being taken care of simply because of the fact that we stable in Dubai. So Amanda and I, we foot our own bills going over there and back, and I really think that that's a little off, considering we're bringing an economical value to the country, and because we paid for our own horse to get to Dubai, and they do provide that to the horses that come to the Dubai World Cup. So I just think that's I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it's just odd that they should take that sort of an opinion when I just think that that's wrong. But Amanda has been uniquely positioned because of her past experience, be it as a trainer, a jockey, or for that matter, developing an award-winning production company. And so that's one of the reasons why those videos are so cool to watch in the morning, because she does a great job on them.
Beautiful. Excellent. And actually, the next question will be for Deborah. So I'm going to keep you on
okay.
for the next one. So
sure.
you're all for strategic breaks. And obviously, with just 6 weeks between Saudi and Dubai, that won't be possible. After the Obaya victory on February 14, you mentioned while reviewing daily video updates, going back to those videos from quarantine, that you told Amanda he's tired. With only 6 weeks between Saudi and the Kahayla Classic, how are you and Duke Watson managing his preparation, and what signs will tell you if he's ready?
Well, he will tell us. He always does. It's interesting that you should ask that question, and I'm glad you did, because when that first picture was sent to me with him in the quarantine box and it's all cement blocked, and he only gets to have his little head out, I looked at that picture and I said, oh my God, he's tired. Look at his eye. And then the next day, we got a video of the horse, and I totally mistook the look in his eye to be that he was tired. He wasn't tired. He was sad. He was sad because he couldn't have his people. The quarantine area does not allow for the people, his grooms, and people that he knows that love him and take care of him. This horse is very much a people horse. And so the next day or two after we got the next set of pictures and videos, the horse was just full of himself, and he was so happy that Bitten got to come out and be on him. And he is back to his old self now that he is back at Red Stable. But it's interesting what a picture says and how much this horse needs his people. That's all there is to it. He needs his people. He loves his people.
That is amazing. That's a great story.
Yes, thank you.
And Amanda, you will have the next one. You've had an extraordinary career from riding your first race at Woodbine in 1984 to working for Sheikh Hamdan in Dubai, to also managing the campaign of one of the greatest Arabian racehorses of all time. How does your experience across both sides of the saddle shape the decisions you and Deb make for this horse?
I think it's a very big advantage. I always wanted to be a jockey from when I was a little girl, and had opportunity right out of high school. And as you said, Woodbine Racetrack was my home track. It's a beautiful track, and I met some amazing horse people, and I had mentors there that really taught me the horsemanship as well as riding, and gave me opportunity. In 1984, as you said, was my first race. And it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was a dream, a goal. I enjoyed racing. I did it for about 3.5 years. But ultimately, training horses and the horsemanship side has always been my passion. So I did transition into training, and I had probably about 4 or 5 years there, and really enjoyed it. Had some really good successes. Actually, my very first win was grade 2 stake with a really nice filly. Sandy Holly rode her for me. So I was really, really fortunate to have, that path into the racing world. And then coming down to America, to Florida in the winters, has always opened up, opportunity. And I took a job actually with Shug McGahee in New York, and went to New York. That was sort of my first next step into the U.S. horse world, and got to ride some amazing horses. Was assistant and galloped a few Derby horses that we campaigned to the Kentucky Derby. We won the Florida Derby with a horse called Friends Lake that I rode. So I've really, really been blessed with to be around great people, great horses, quality owners. And I think always being in that path and having, that opportunity has taught me a lot. One of the main things I learned early on was you never stop learning. I try every single day to, keep my eyes and ears open, and no horse is the same and no day is the same in horse racing. It's a continued education daily, but having, the foundation of now 40 plus years in this industry, it's a blessing. So the natural succession is to managing horses, which I absolutely love, because I get to bring all of that knowledge. I get to understand things. Like sometimes, for instance, this morning we received some videos, and I'm able to look at, a horse and know what that rider is doing and why they're doing it, like the exercise riders in the morning. And I could see that. And then, I was able to, prep the new trainer, saying, the temperament of this one, if you have this kind of rider, that's going to be better for it. And that's only because I've done it. I've ridden a lot of horses. And again, the communication between all the entities of, being able to pass knowledge along, being able to ask the right questions is part of it too, but also about listening and receiving information from them that I can kind of translate and help, Deb and all of us kind of understand a little bit more of why this is happening or why that's not happening. So, yeah, I honestly feel very, very lucky. But it's a lot of hard work, and I'm proud of my hard work. I was brought up, you got to be doing it all, and having that knowledge. I think, it's been a huge advantage for me.
For sure, I bet. And sharing, it's all about a teamwork as well. So sharing the
Exactly.
knowledge and definitely.
Exactly.
Excellent. Deborah, Alan and you bred first class. Not that first class is achieving feats no other horses has managed in the Kahayla Classic history. What would he make of this moment?
Well, I think he would say you did it. He knew I always wanted to breed the greatest Arabian racehorse from our country. And over the years, we made many sacrifices and there were sad moments and we had hard decisions. But we also enjoyed the wonderful wins, and there were many. We shared those with people in the industry that would become lifelong friends. As he used to refer to them as the degenerates, he would be proud of what has been accomplished. And I know he would be very happy and very proud. I do believe that he's with me through all of these.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Amanda, first class comeback has been a steady rebuild. And the strategic freshness in England, the return to form in Abu Dhabi, the second Kahayla Classic, and now the Obaya. What does his resilience tell you about the foundation laid at Creighton, and what would a third Kahayla Classic victory on the landmark 30th Dubai World Cup night mean for American-bred Arabian racing on the world stage?
Well, firstly, credit to Deb's breeding program. When I first got into the Arabian horses here in America, again, my foundation is thoroughbreds. I did have a taste of them in Dubai, but I can definitely say that, Cree Run Farms, Deb and Alan, breed the best. Their foundations, and what I love about Deb and her passion to the integrity of the Arabian horse. She's very careful in her nicking of, who's going to go to who and stallions that she chooses for the integrity of the horse. So, very lucky to receive and work with horses of this quality, which is, always the dream for any of us in horse racing. A lot of people try to buy them all the time, but, Deb's able to just filter them out of her, barn in Doswell and had such great success. So yeah, when you get to work with the nice ones, it's a privilege. So yeah, that's very, very important. When we did take possession of him again in October 23, again, the lease had ended and Deb made a wonderful call to retain him. When we got him back and Doug received him, he definitely, there's a time he was a tired horse. He'd had probably a little bit on his form had slidden downward. So that first season in Dubai for Doug, Deb, and I was kind of a rebuild, just get to really see where he was, not just physically, but emotionally. So he ran some decent races for the team that year. But it was very evident to me and Deb that he really needed a reset. And I was very passionate about saying, let's just go throw him out, turn him out, let him be a horse again. And, time is always the answer in horse racing. You learn about it, you think you can figure out and set a plan, but ultimately, when they need time, you either give them the time now or they will make you give them time.
Yes, I know.
I'm very, very much in the integrity of the horse and the athlete, and the mental state is very important to me. That's something that I probably really focus on, that some people, kind of shrug their shoulders a bit and then they start to see, oh, I see, that does make a difference. But sending him to England for that first season, the first summer break, was absolutely the right thing. And he rewarded us. He came back. He had 3.5, 4. I went and visited him after 2.5 months, and we originally were only going to give him 3 months off. And after the visit, could tell he needed another month. And Deb was absolutely on board and said, let's just do the right thing. And that whole was a reset that summer. And he went back to Doug and had an amazing season last year. So 24, 25. And so he rewarded us by us rewarding him and listening to him. And then again, this year we decided we had another horse that had time off in Dubai last year and was ready to race. So we chose France last summer, excuse me. France has an amazing race program. It's quite like, it's got the opportunity that the UAE has in the winter season, in the summer season. They run almost 100 races in their condition book. So it's really, it was a very valuable business decision for us to make. So we did send him to France, and we were plugged in with a very wonderful woman in POW that she took great care of him, and he got turned out and he got to be a horse, and he was, he rewarded us yet again. So yeah, making those decisions of adding time to his schedule has been key and will continue to be key. And as Deb mentioned earlier, we respect him so much that he is in charge of all of us, to be honest. Whatever he says goes. So we will continue to listen to him. And, and I hope, as Deb likes to mention, that, his path could be maybe some education or some awareness to some people to realize sometimes that, giving horses time, which is something they used to do and something they do a lot in Australia, which I love, spelling. Not so much here in America, a little more in Europe, but, there's nothing more valuable than time when it comes to racing. So yeah, you reward them, they reward you.
It's almost like us, like people. Sometimes we need a break, sometimes we need
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, a physical and mental reset,
Also,
because you're asking a lot of a competitive horse, especially at this level, in the grade 1 level. So this is, the resets, and always attention to detail. I mean, everything from, I got him a stall toy last year, and we named him Pierre, and it's a duck that hangs in his stall. He loves it, and so anytime he travels, it's make sure Pierre gets on. Where's Pierre?
That's right.
So yeah, little attention to detail, and that really has been the longevity of him. Obviously, as I said earlier, Deb breeds amazing horses, and him being 9, even though we have to hear about it every time he wins from every announcer, long in the tooth this and the old man that. He's an Arabian, as Deb likes to point out. They foundation are all about distance and longevity, and so it's respecting him as an athlete, and having obviously a top quality athlete to work with.
I'd like to also add that if we hadn't done what we have done in managing him, we would not be at the stage that we are at right now to be able to go to the 30-year anniversary of the Dubai World Cup, which is considered the most prestigious day of racing in the world. And it would just be extra special if he can have a good race there. I think that class exemplifies over 40 years of selective breeding on our part here at Cree Run. In the early years of my breeding program, I was fortunate to travel on behalf of Markel's equine insurance program to many farms around the world. And it allowed me to see the stallions that I would later either represent or breed to. It also made me understand breeding phenotype and genotype, and looking at a pedigree and it being strong and saying that that is the gene pool that makes up this horse. And each of our mares, they exemplify all of that selective breeding. And we went one step further by measuring all of our foundation mares' hearts in 5 different categories. And I really feel that all of that, to me, I wanted to keep Arabian type. It means the most that our Arabians look like Arabians. If they look like thoroughbreds, I might as well race thoroughbreds. But you can tell the Class is an Arabian. He flags his tail. And some people think that that's funny, but they have no idea that that is the cooling part for the hind legs for when they run. It's kind of like a fan. And so for him to have that flagged tail, people think, oh my gosh, that's, isn't that funny or quirky? But it is a part of the Arabian type, and it needs to be continued. Just like the shortness of their heads, it means that airflow gets right directly into those lungs faster than those longer heads. Their bones are stronger than the thoroughbred bone, and their feet are very large in comparison to what a thoroughbred hoof size is in comparison to their body. So there are such unique things that the Arabian beholds if you keep that type, the Arabian type. And quite frankly, when you look at the picture of him winning the Dubai Kahayla Classic, and you see Talal al-Khalidiyya and his head and his straining to try and get to first class, and first class has his little ears just pricked forward, like, okay, I'm out for a daily run today. And it was a magnificent picture, but you can see the difference. I mean, he has tremendous size of nostril for the size of his head, and all of that airflow goes right into those lungs. And so, and with those beautiful hooves, the size that they are, it allows him to really take hold of the surface. One of the reasons I would say that he has been able to transition from turf to dirt, dirt to turf. And again, I believe in that size of hoof, and my endurance horses that I have bred have shown that with horses like Treasured Moments, who has been at Tevis 5 times and won it 2 times and tied that third time with her stallmate. But, these are the characteristics of the Arabian horse, and we need to remember that. Or otherwise, we might as well breed thoroughbreds.
That is very true. And Deborah, actually, since we are talking, the last question will be for you. First class resurgence has been gradual rather than overnight. If he completes the hat trick on March 28th, what does that mean for the future of Cray Run breeding program, especially with the new fall crop by Dahes and Al Mamoun Munlo, including breeding back his dam? And what are your possible plans for him in the summer and thereafter?
Well, I'm very proud that Class has done what he's been able to do, which has complemented our breeding program. We're very fortunate because he has 5 sisters. 4 of them are full sisters, and one of them is by Sadine, who is a wonderful horse that was bred in the United Arab Emirates, and I believe still holds a track record there. That filly, now a mare, is owned by Her Highness Sheikh Hassan bin Sultan bin Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. But the other 4 are owned by Cray Run. We have one on lease to Dr. Nuchefi, and I have one here that's in foal, Taylor's Touch of Class, who is in foal to Al Mamoun Manlao. The other 2, a special class. She is one of the 3-year-olds that is in training in France, and the other is a 2-year-old, a class of all her own, and she graces my pasture. As for his dam, we are trying to retrieve eggs and see about future breedings. So we're excited about the future. And Class, he will be the one who tells us what his future is going to be. After this race, we'll listen to him, and he'll let us know what we should do.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for the interview. We just have less than a minute. Perfect timing. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was great. I hope you enjoyed the interview too.